welcome to Benchmark Magazine. Today we're talking to CSL Hiran Ravat, Head of IoT Business Development and Partnerships at CSL. Hello, Hiran, how are you?
Hi, Jenny, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Hiran, we are here to do a profiling of CSL, trying to see where the company's at. Could you give us a little bit of a background of CSL, how it started, where the name comes from, and where it's at now?
Yeah. So a bit about CSL. So I guess our name stands for Connected Secure Live, and we're pretty known in the UK definitely, and the other countries that we operate in. We've been around for 25 years now, and our heritage is in the fire and security industry. So we work with lots of alarm receiving centres, the installation companies, and we basically provide resilient, secure connectivity for alarm signalling panels. And like I said, we've got a very strong heritage in that. We've prided ourselves on providing a managed service built on the back of high managed, customer secure service levels. And yeah, we've continuously grown. We've made some acquisitions in that space, and we're at a market leading position as a critical comm supplier now.
And now you've been with CSL for about a year. Tell us about how did it happen that you came into CSL, what your background is, and why IoT? IoT is a big area. How does CSL fit into the Internet of Things?
Yeah, so my background is that I've been in the mobile network industry now for 22 years. So I started as a graduate at Vodafone, and then after Vodafone I was at O2, and the last part of my experience in Vodafone and in O2 was all in the IoT arena. So I'm really interested in IoT as a general, because I guess the connectivity that we're using, it's for not just mobile phone usage and internet usage, but it's actually to change people's lives and change the way that businesses work, and there's real life benefits on the back of what IoT can bring. So I really love the industry. There's lots of things to get involved with, and how CSL fitted into that is because CSL actually are an IoT business, right? I guess it's not always been well known because we've been focusing on the fire and security industry, and we've always classed ourselves as a critical comm supplier, but CSL were a partner in the IoT world of both Vodafone and O2. So I've known of CSL from my past experience, and I guess my big reason to move was because I'd worked at the big corporate companies, and I wanted to try working for a solution partner who had a specific focus in a unique area, which CSL did, which is why I came across.
Fantastic. So we're talking about IoT at what level? It's not residential level necessarily, is it?
No, so I guess, like you said, the IoT market is really broad. There's lots of different components to it. I guess the fundamental part of IoT that we're in is the communication space, but that communication space translates across pretty much most industries and most verticals in IoT. But we focus at that B2B sector, so we work at the enterprise level, and we want to go out there and help businesses. And it can be through any type of use case where connectivity is needed, but that's where we want to get involved with other businesses.
What are CSL's flagship products?
So I guess I should mention that we've got two sides to our business. So we've got the heritage part of the business, which is the fire and security sector, where we've got a unique product set. But the area of the business that I work on for the broader IoT market, we focus on two core components, which is the connectivity at a SIM card level, and then we also have our own managed router proposition. And I guess it's really important to differentiate this router proposition versus what's already in the market, because when people hear about the fact that we've got a router and it's connected, there's lots of things like that in the market, but what CSL have got is really unique. So we provide a router proposition that has dual SIMs from different network operators. That's so that we've got resilience in case there's an issue with any particular network operator. We also fully manage that router proposition for any customers. So if I give you a real life example of why that makes a big difference, is let's say in the retail sector, which is a vertical that we want to go out and really go after. We already have business in that sector, and where we differentiate is the retail sector can go and buy routers with connectivity to provide connectivity in a store. But when they have an issue with that connectivity or the router, the market is built on a self-managed model. So you need to log on to a platform, you need to do your own diagnostics, and you get it up and running. Because I guess we historically we went from not having any management capabilities to having all these portals that you can self-manage. But actually that model is complex in the retail space, especially when you've got, let's say, independent retailers that have got salespeople working in a shop and the shop is full of customers. If they have a connectivity issue, they don't want to sit there and talk to their IT department or log into portals. So what CSL do in that space, and where it's so unique, is we proactively monitor and manage that network. So if anything happens with it, we log on to it and we make the changes necessary to keep them up and running. So they can concentrate on serving customers, and we make sure that they're always up and running. And that's what's unique in the marketplace in terms of what we offer for IoT.
Technology as it should be, which is invisible.
Exactly.
Working without you having to worry about it.
Exactly.
Yes. So has this transition or this new part of the business, from the fire and security, now you are on the IoT part of the business and communications with the networks, has this meant a change on the way you do business?
Yeah, so I guess, even though we've been around for 25 years, our focus has always been the fire and security business. And in that business, we've got a set model in how we work and who we work with. So we work with the alarm receiving centers and the installation network, and we provide our solutions to that world, and it works well. And everyone knows how CSL operates in that arena. Where we've had to change from, and actually some of it has come from the fire and security sectors, because we've started working on use cases that aren't really fire and security, but we've gained success with that customer base. So what that has meant is that the businesses looked at what we've got from a capability perspective and realized that actually we need to broaden out of that fire and security market. And that's what I'm here for, I guess. So, my background being in IoT and working across sectors that CSL haven't traditionally worked in, it's now how can I then introduce the unique capabilities that we've got in our proposition and take it to those industries and those verticals that are broader than fire and security.
Could you tell us about the verticals? What verticals are you looking at?
We're sort of starting on where we've got a little bit of heritage in terms of where we've already won business. So one being the utility sector. In the utility sector, they really value the managed proposition because it reduces the amount of engineer visits that they need to go out and send to sites and their monitoring stations. So that's one that we're targeting more, because there's lots of utility companies. We work with water companies, but you've also got the gas and the energy companies. Mm-hmm. But also the retail sector, because the retail sector at the moment, we are already working with them from our alarm signaling panel. We also work with them on the CCTV perspective. So we're now saying, actually, for your in-store communications, that also should be resilient and secure. So we can provide a managed service around that, like the example I was giving you around, the smaller retailers. So we're now focusing on those verticals as a starting point, but also the EV charging market. But we're not narrowing ourselves down. If there's something that comes to us where we can add value and you need connectivity that is resilient, always up and running, and cyber secure, that's what we do. And we're willing to get involved in these other sectors. Why
is cybersecurity necessary or important in this area?
With the world becoming more connected, the risk of cyber attacks have grown. I think, I was reading somewhere recently that Ernst & Young did a study, and they were saying that I think in the last year, most small, medium enterprises had at least one cyber security attack. And there's lots of costs involved in that, right? It could be that they can't operate, in terms of trading and taking payments. They have to close stores and lose revenue. So there's a massive importance and a massive focus on there. And I think that now it's probably become the number one buying decision in terms of utilizing any type of a solution. So we have that capability already. We've built our capability in a way that it's so simple. We manage, we configure, we get everything set up for you. So you literally just plug and play the solution that we offer. And
so if I am Mr. Sainsbury's and I come and say, Hiran, can you just make sure that all of this communication is happening, securely? What do I have to do as Mr. Sainsbury's or whoever it is?
It's just a discussion with us, because I guess we just need to understand what it is that you want to get connected and what the end use is. So if it's, let's say, payment terminals, we just need to realize what you're connecting to our connectivity, the managed router proposition, and we will then do the configuration remotely. So we've got a unique platform within the CSL business where we can configure multiple devices remotely in seconds. So we will provide all of that pre-configured. We set it, we send it out, and the installer would just install it and it's up and running, which is why I guess, this translating back to the fire and security industry, the reason that we're so big in that is because we've made it so easy for alarm receiving centers and the installers. We're just now translating that back to a broader market to keep it that simple, but having everything connected, secure and resilient in the way that we do in that world.
What would be your highlight partnerships that you have within this industry?
So yeah, I guess fundamentally we are a connectivity supplier and a solution partner. So we work with the mobile networks, and for us to have that value over, let's say, just the traditional resellers who would pick maybe the UK networks, we work with lots of different network providers from the UK and from other countries. That gives us the flexibility of providing a real broad depth of coverage in different countries and different providers. So then, we've got that added resilience of working with lots of different players. So
are you network agnostic, or do you have your favorites?
We're network agnostic. So the key thing for us is, as long as we're providing coverage in a broad level, and it's also reliable and resilient, and we can then put our security around it and encrypt the data that we transfer between us and the network and back from us to the device. That's the key thing for us. We will do what's right for the customer, but making sure it's all secured and connected.
Thank you, Hiran. The last question. What would you say are the main trends coming up this year by the end of 2022?
So yeah, I think, as I was mentioning before, the cybersecurity focus, I think, is going to grow even more. I think, lots of people are using connectivity for lots of different use cases in IoT. And fundamentally, the buying decision in the past has been, what's the cheapest? Which operator have we got relationships with? But I think the security element has always been an afterthought, because I guess we're all used to, as consumers, having connectivity, right? So in the business world, that's flown through. So people have just gone to retail outlets and bought the same connectivity that we use in our handsets, or the ones that we would use at home, which are unsecure, unprotected networks, because they don't need that level of resilience and security in there. But I think that with the increase in cyber attacks, the increasing now how much we rely on connectivity, especially in the times of COVID, where we've seen remote working and having that reliability on connectivity, it's really key. And we're going to see that continue to grow and grow and grow. And I believe for a business like CSL and what we focus on, that's going to be key for us to go out and address.
Hiran, thank you so much for your insight. It's most interesting. Where can people find you?
We're online. We have a website with a large number of visitors every month. We have our LinkedIn pages. We're on all the social media sites, so Twitter and Facebook. So we have a big online presence. You see us at pretty much all fire and security events. We're now also attending lots of IoT events, and we do lots of discussions with like the likes of you guys and other magazines. So yeah, you should see us around everywhere. We're trying to get the word out there more and more and more.
Very good. So people can just contact you on LinkedIn or go on the website, find your name and discuss their business needs and get the right IoT solution from CSL.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Hiran.
Thanks,
Goodbye
Jenny. Thanks for
now.
your time.
Bye.